tuned in to the latest edition of State of the Week, brought to you by the good guys from State Your Claim. But hold on, before we get into it, Roy, you always got something to tell the people. So what
Yeah.
do you have to tell them this week?
I need you guys to do 3 things for me. I need you guys to like, I need you guys to comment, and I definitely need you guys to subscribe. And make sure you check us out on all the social media platforms. We're on all of them. We're not hard to find. We're not hiding. If you're
Hey,
there, we're there. That's a fact.
definitely not hiding. You want to reach out to me, you want to reach out to Royal, you can do that. Um, and listen, at this point, you should just know that we're gonna be hitting you up every week, right? You should just know that. You should just know that. So, consistency is key. We appreciate everybody checking in. Um, but look, I want to get right to it. Lots going on. We're gonna do footwear, we're gonna do history, we're gonna do some history lessons tonight for people who don't know, and some high fashion. But I want to kick things off with, to me, this is major news. This is major, major, major news.
Major news?
Okay.
What you got?
Okay. So we have the Nike Air Force One collaboration with Nowhere. Now, I know you know about Nowhere.
Of
Okay.
course. Of
But
course.
for the people who may not know about Nowhere, let's just go through a quick historical journey. Okay. So this was announced on April the 21st. So fresh. It's an Air Force One that's going to be dropping May the 1st. But the whole idea of what Nowhere is, it was a tiny retail store tucked away in Tokyo, Japan, in the Harajuku section, okay, where there's a lot of streetwear heavy shops. And it was led and ran by two very important people. Nigo, you should know who he is, founder of A Bay and Ape in 1993. And then Jun Takahashi, who is the founder of Undercover. So these two guys had their own retail shop where one side was Bape and Americana vintage selling. The other side was Undercover. These are two huge pillars within streetwear, within fashion. When you think of global
Right.
dominance, when you think of just consistency over a period of over 30 years,
Mhm.
influences, these two are at the top of the list. Okay, so we got Nowhere out the way. This was a shop that these two guys ran, and they're looked at as being really the OG of OGs of streetwear and menswear. All right, so Nike is collabing with Nowhere, which is interesting, Royal, because this shop doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-mm.
So the fact that there's a collab with a brand, okay, that doesn't exist anymore is kind of crazy because this doesn't happen often. Um, it is an Air Force One that's done in patent leather. It takes on, you'll see on at the top of the screen, it takes on the signage of what Nowhere used to be, kind of that navy and white. It has the shape of close to the 2001 shape, not the Air Force One.
That's
Look,
my favorite part of this whole thing is that that Nigo selected the 2001 shape. That's my favorite part of this collab.
that's your favorite part of this collaboration. Okay, cool. So yeah, talk to me about how you're feeling about this announcement and this collaboration.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a and if for those of you who haven't seen State Your Claim episode number 2, where the whole episode was dedicated to who's the next Nigo. If you don't know by now, I'm a huge Nigo fan. It's he can do very little wrong in my eyes. Nevertheless, I'm still excited. It's a very nostalgic moment for me. It's a nostalgic moment for Japanese streetwear in general because they are absolutely they'd have to be some of the pioneers. I think only leaving out Hiroshi Fujiwara, because that's who Nigo is named after, but
Right.
besides him, they're pioneers of Japanese streetwear, and, you know, they also, as you alluded to earlier, they help pioneer streetwear globally. So, you know, the fact that it's going back, channeling back to their roots and giving a nod to that, and it's with Nike is, you know, it's amazing. I'm all
Right.
for it. The
You all
only thing
for
I
it?
think is missing
Mhm.
personally is,
Yeah.
the fat laces like the original ones. The original ones have fat laces. If they woulda added that element, I think it would have been almost spot on, but nevertheless, I still like what it is, and Nike is continuing this whole patent leather Air Force One trend,
Yes.
wave, however you wanna word it, that they're on
Right.
right now, and I haven't to be honest with you, I haven't been disappointed yet. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm not upset at it.
Yeah, no, no, I'm definitely not mad at it. What I like is as much as this is about a collab piece coming out, a shoe coming out, again, it really gets people to learn about the whole history of sneakers, of fashion. And not for nothing, let us not forget that Nego, founding Bathing Ape, the
Mhm.
Bapester, right? Obviously, that was a heavily inspired shoe from the Air Force One. So the fact that after all these years, right, all this, I mean, we've always loved Bapesters, right? There's always been a community out there, Nike, of course, they didn't like that, right? Of course they didn't like that. They don't like anyone touching anything that they've done and putting a twist on it, cease and desist, blah, 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 whatever the case. The fact that he now has his own Air Force One after spending decades doing the Bapester in patent leather, I think is, that full circle moment. You know what I mean? So I love that aspect of it. He started out with Nike in the partnership with the Air Force 3, more of a kind of niche, silhouette. I think in certain markets it performed well. Others, people just didn't really understand the history of it.
I mean,
But
it's
this one, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, you know, them Japanese style, you know, they get it. They get it over there. But I have a question for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Would you like to see more Air Force Ones done in the 2001 shape? Or you're
absolutely.
comfortable with the shape now?
I mean, I would much prefer to see that 2001 style shape. A little wider, a little sleeker, not as heavy. Um, Absolutely. I think when you hear stories, rest in peace to Clark, you know, you hear about Barr talking about Air Forces, you hear about Abdul talking Air Forces, you know, these guys are always talking about shape. You know what I mean? And this is where you get into like the nuances of a model and how it's changed over the years. So my answer is yes. Um, and look, there's been other people who have done the patent leather Air Force One lately. However you feel about him, Lil Yachty, you know what I mean? He has done that past couple years. Just mentioning some other names. I saw that smirk on your face because I know that creates a lot of tension. We'll talk about that at another time. Um, but had the Air Force One pack that released a couple weeks ago, did really well. Got some white patent leather Air Force Ones. So
Man,
regardless if we want them or not,
those are gonna be
they're
hey,
happening.
I have a friend, you know, he's a big reseller, and he's
Mm,
like, "I don't like them. I don't like them." I'm like, "Yo, boy, I don't know what's wrong with you, but those white patent leather Uptowns is about to go diamond this summer. I don't know what you're talking about, but those are about to go diamond in the streets. I'm sorry.
they're gonna go crazy. They
Yeah,
are gonna go absolutely insane, insane. They're actually available on a couple sites, but I think a lot of people just really don't know about it yet. But once the cat is really out the bag, oh, it's gonna do its numbers. It's gonna do its numbers. Yeah. So yeah. I would just say do your research on Nowhere. Learn about that. Just real quick, the shoe is gonna drop May 1st in London first as a part of a art exhibit honoring Nego, I believe. Then May the 2nd, it's gonna drop on Human Made website and also Undercovers. I know. So look, we're gonna figure it out though. We're gonna
Oh,
figure it
yeah.
out though.
Well, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You heard him. You heard him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about this this major major announcement in my eyes? So
Cool, man. We
you
we
good?
we oh yeah, we
Yeah,
touched
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. So let's keep it with footwear, Royal, and let's move on to Joe Freshgoods. Okay, so
Yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
I know you've been waiting for this one. You know what I mean? So just real quick, if you don't know who Joe Freshgoods is, comes from Chicago, streetwear designer, been around for several years now, really been putting in the work. Started out with Dope Boy Magic, his first brand, really hustled his way into this industry. Now you know him for a lot of his different collaborations, not just with New Balance. He's done collab work with Adidas, with Vans, Converse, New Era, but people know him really, really at a high level for his collaboration with New Balance. So we're talking about the 1890 silhouette that he is doing a collab with. Now, this shoe is going to release globally on April the 30th. Now, the whole model of the shoe, it's a hybrid of the 8090 V3 and the New Balance 2002 model. There's two colorways. One is called the Naughty Things, right? It's seen in the purple, black, gray colorway with a hint of yellow. And then there's the Finger Waves colorway seen in orange, yellow, and black. The unofficial inspiration is taking it back to 90s music, hip hop, rap music videos directed by Hype Williams. All right, so I'm gonna just do a clear out because I know you got a lot to say about this.
Mhm.
How are you feeling about this collaboration? I got more to add, but what are you thinking about it? What are your general thoughts?
Collaboration is cool. It's not nothing that blew me out the water, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What was crazy was when I read the write-ups for it, especially Complex,
Mm.
and they stated the music videos that it was inspired by. I said, "There's no video for Missy Elliott and Juvenile. They don't have a video together."
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
read that article, I'm like, "That's." So let me tell you something, people. Even with us, even with major publications, still fact check because
Right.
there is no Missy and Juvenile do not have a video for their well, he's actually on a remix. They don't have a video together. So I don't know how he could be inspired by a music video that doesn't exist. Now, as far as the Buster and Janet video, the sneaker is the exact color of that video.
That'll be the Naughty Things
Yeah,
colorway.
that is spot on.
Spot on.
If you wanna say the other video, he did say in his Instagram post, he did put "ha" he did write Juvenile, put "ha" in quotation marks. That shoe would resemble that color of that
Yep.
music video. It would
Yep.
also resemble the cover for 400 Degrees, and if he wants to give a nod to Missy, it does resemble the cover for her song Hot Boys, which the video was directed by Hype Williams, so
Where you get a lot of fire, a lot of pyro in the background. Great song. Great
great
song,
song.
by the way.
Yeah, and I
If
love
you
Nile
never heard that song,
Rodgers. Yeah.
go listen to that. And make
Yeah,
sure it's the remix. Make sure it's the
yeah,
remix. You know what I
but
mean?
once again, when you read these publications, still do your own due diligence and check the facts because sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes
Mhm.
we're wrong.
This is true. This is
So
true.
if
And listen, call us out if we're incorrect. We want to get it right for the people. Now, you know what's funny? You talked about Complex, saying this about Juvenile and Missy having a video together. Hypebeast also wasn't right either when they first spoke about this because they had the names incorrectly matched to different colorway. And look, shit happens. You know what I
yeah,
mean? No one's gonna be perfect.
no,
People
not at all.
working
No,
people working late at night, you know what I
fact.
mean? They don't have enough caffeine. They trying to
I,
get things out.
yeah, I messed up last week. I I worded something last week. So last week I said that the tabbies weren't out when the wrists were out. The tabbies came out in 1988. What I meant to say was nobody was really wearing them like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but I
We
said they weren't out, meaning, I worded it completely incorrectly, so
for
we all make
sure.
mistakes. Hey, man, even players fuck up, man.
Yeah, you know, you, shit happens. Shit happens out here. But I want to just say that I feel like Joe Freshgoods, again, he is so let's talk about this for a second. When you see your collaborator working with the brand, just know that they don't always get a say on the models that they have to collab with,
Yeah, I know he wanna
right?
pick the model.
He probably wouldn't have picked this model. Okay, so Action Bronson had a collab with this colorway earlier this year. They have released some general release sneakers. Um, I'm pretty sure that this one is gonna outperform what Action Bronson did. No disrespect to him or some of these general releases. And yo, he really unearths these stories. He really goes very, very in depth with Black culture and puts that to his
I
messaging. You know what
I
I mean? Does he
um,
not? Does he not?
I feel like the best one he did was Belly. I
That
feel
was
like this
fire.
one, the Belly series probably was the best one he did. I
Mhm.
think this one, 99% of the people who buy the sneakers won't even really care or won't even know those videos.
Well,
'Cause the age group that'll buy the sneakers,
okay, but see, that's okay for them to not know, but if they go back and do their research,
they won't.
they I don't
They
know.
won't,
I don't know that they won't do their research. You know, people like to act like they know a little bit of everything these days, so I would imagine
man. I be
you don't
online with these kids and talking to these
man,
kids.
no hope for the
You know what
youth.
I'm saying? Listen, you got the Papa Yangs, you got the Izzos. Those
Mhm.
guys, couple other guys who are actually gonna go online and they're gonna talk about it, and in the process of them talking about it, they're gonna do the research, and the people will get it from them. But these people ain't gonna look shit up, man. They're lazy. People people will dead ass go to an article and say, "Yo, what's the name of this model?" And they'll literally say it in the model, "How much these sneakers cost?" And they'll literally say it in the post or in the article, and they're still asking. Niggas don't read.
My goodness.
They
My g
don't read, so you think they're gonna go back
Hey,
and watch a video?
the
Yeah,
youth,
alright.
the youth, please tap in. Please tap in, you know, tell Royal he's either crazy or telling
Prove
me
me
spot
wrong.
on.
Prove me
Prove him
prove me
wrong.
wrong. Prove
I
me
got I got
wrong.
I got more hope for the youth that they actually will dig back and try
I
to
hope
figure
so.
out or maybe ask their parents, you know what I mean? Be like, "Mom, Dad, like, what is Joe Fred's Goods talking about?" Right? You know? I mean, he grew up in that era watching we talked about Rap City, we talked about Yo and TV Raps, all that kind of stuff. One more thing I want to say about it is not just the shoes that really play into I guess the idea of music videos. The
Mhm.
box is see-through. So
The
in
fish
my
eye.
mind,
The fish eye,
the
yes,
fish
yes.
eyes. So in my mind, I'm thinking of, all right, he's got this inspiration with the music videos. It's almost like he's looking at that TV, looking at the TV and seeing, whether it's the Busta Janet video, for the naughty things, right? Or for the finger waves colorway. Like you said, that can go a lot of different ways. Juvenile 400 degrees. You know what I thought about? I thought about Hype Williams' Hate Me Now music video as well. I thought about that in terms of the because he shot that video for Nas. I thought about that in some of those scenes. It's a lot of orange
Oh,
and
when you got the fire in the
with the
background and stuff.
fire. I
Right.
thought about that too, but Joe didn't mention that. Um, and then also, the box resembles a steel diamond plate shape. So think of it like being on a video set, shooting a music video, the equipment that the parts have to go in. So again, I think he really did his thing and he tied it together with the shoe that is wearable. And unlike some other collaborations that came out earlier this year, it's not so literal. It's not so literal. And we'll leave it at that. Anything else you want to talk about with the Joe Freshgoods collaboration with New
Yeah.
Balance?
Yeah,
What's
more
up?
black excellence support. So, I mean, salute, my fault, salute.
Yep.
More black
Yep.
excellence.
Amen. All the time. Like I said, Black History is happening all the time. All the time. It's actually happening right now here.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. We good? We can move on.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, cool. All right. So, Royal, let's get into some high fashion meets big door fashion, but a really strong, reputable brand. So let's talk about Cecilie Bahsen in Uniqlo. So she has a collection. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, who is she? So she's a Danish Copenhagen, excuse me, based women's wear brand. Been around since 2015. LVMH prize finalist several years ago. She's got multiple collaborations under her belt, people. Okay, she straight hit it out the park with
She's the
Asics.
shit.
She is legit. She is one of those ones that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. She's done collaboration work with the North Face, Alpha Industries, just to name a few. I don't have a lot of time to go through all of this, okay, but she is partnering with Uniqlo for her inaugural collection. It lands in store on May the 22nd. The collection is called Shapes of Poetry. So if you know anything about her brand, you know that she infuses floral patterns, voluminous shapes, and her signature shirring. You're going to see all those details into this particular partnership with Uniqlo. So I want to take a step back. What do you think about this? And it seems like every other week we're seeing, high fashion designer working with the Uniqlo or Zara. How you feeling about this?
Bro, she don't fucking miss.
Mm,
She she she's one of those people that she has a design and she has a design language, and her ethos always translates through her work. She
yes.
doesn't over or undercomplicate anything. She just sticks to what she does, and no matter who she works with, it translates. It just
Hmm.
translates.
Right.
She's just one of those people. And I always want to see people get to a bigger stage, but I like the stage and I like the space that she's in. I don't know if I would like her at a bigger house. I like how she's operating now. I think she's one of those people who's just her namesake brand is just that's all she needs. And to keep doing collaborations, and I think she should just stick it out like this. But she has, she makes women's clothes. She doesn't make men's clothes, but she's one of my favorite female designers, women's designer, however you want to word it. And she hasn't disappointed me yet. From her Asics collab to the North Face to
Hmm.
out like I haven't looked at one thing yet and been like,
Right.
she got it.
Yeah. No, she got it. And keep in mind, y'all, that her mainline collection, we're talking about pieces that range from 800 to $1,200. So for the Uniqlo collection, we're talking about pieces that range from $19 to roughly 80, maybe
Oh, it's
going
going
into
it's
like
gonna fly
100.
out the door.
What'd you say?
With fashion insiders, it's gonna fly out the door.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. This one's gonna be quick. So be ready. Go to your Uniqlo if you're interested. You can also purchase it on her actual website. So one thing that really stuck out to me, and she mentioned this, is that this is the first time that she's doing children's wear, right? So it's almost like this mini me type of thing that she's got going on. So there's about 5 pieces that are for uh, you know, young girls that can actually match their fly with their sister, with their mom, right? With their aunt, whoever it happens to be their guardian. So that's the dopest thing about it is that I think the editorial shots, I hope there's more of them where it shows that. But I think that that's creative, right? Because, I mean, listen, you and, obviously the young king, you know what I'm saying? You all get fly together, you know what I'm saying? Your son, right? So my man Oakland, you all get fly. We see that very often. And I think it's kind of cool. I don't know if she, had that in mind, but I just like that element of it.
Yeah, I do too, and I like that a lot of brands, when they work with brands like Uniqlo, when they work with brands like H&M or brands like
Hmm.
Zara, that they
Czar.
like to test the waters with things that they've never done before. We saw the same thing with Simone Rocha when she worked with H&M. That was her first time doing menswear,
That's
And
right.
as I stated before, I grabbed a few of the pieces, so
Mhm.
I like when brands collaborate and they try something new because it's definitely the stage to do so.
Understood. And you know what? You know how you said like test the waters? I think this is also good for consumers to test the waters with a high fashion brand without having to go all the way in and spend all that money.
Great
So
point.
here's another opportunity. If you were ever interested in one of her pieces, you don't have to spend $800, right? Maybe you want to just dip your toe in the water real quick. You know what I'm saying? Check that temperature. So go check it out at Uniqlo. And Uniqlo itself is just a very strong brand. You know how much of a fan I am of their clothes, every city. I'm getting some t-shirts when I touch down. Um, I'm excited to see this and yeah, let's see what it does. Anything else you want to add to that or this topic?
Respect to her.
Yeah, definitely
Keep
respect to
keep
her.
keep doing what you're doing.
Yep, please. Yep, absolutely. Okay. So, final topic of discussion, and this is a conversation I feel like is had. Maybe we don't talk about it nearly enough, but when we talk about high fashion pieces, how much is too much? When does it become okay, they done priced everyone out the market? So the reason why we're having this discussion, bro, and you actually brought this to me, so shout out to you. And we want to give a special shout out to the IG account Kelly Couture. Um, so this is a wonderful person. Please go follow her, check her out. She covers full collections from high fashion brands, but she will actually go into detail and list the entire collection. She will also list the price point for each article of clothing that's in them. And a lot of people get in the comments and they're talking about, I can't believe that, this brand would charge this much for some trousers. I can't believe that Bottega is charging this much for some boots. So these conversations just happen. So I guess the question I have is there ever a point where you're like, this is outrageous or I don't know. What are you thinking about that?
Aldo Gucci said, "Quality is long remembered after the price is forgotten."
Mm,
Um, do I think there is such thing as too much? No, I don't. I don't think there's such thing as too much. Is there such thing as is it worth it? Yes. But is there such thing as too much? No, because to me, if you look at fashion through the lens that I look at it,
mm-hmm.
it's considered wearable art to me.
100%.
It's somebody out there who will say a pair of Red October Yeezys to them aren't worth the retail price. Someone else, they're worth 30, $40,000. You know, I seen, we all know that art piece. That was a banana, that was a banana peel with duct tape.
Right, and that was worth what? How many million? A
Billions of
few?
dollars. Like, is it worth it? That's what I said, but it's art. And so is the fashion that we're into. We consider it art, wearable
Mhm,
art. The
mhm.
price point is in, the person's eyes.
Right,
So do I
right.
think so that's why I say, do I think something is too much? No. Is everything worth it? No. But like it's a kid right now who come out with a t-shirt and it might not be worth more than $10, but if he says it's $500 and he gets a little motion behind him, people will pay $500.
Pay $500 for it
And I'm not mad at him for getting his money. Like we say on this show all the
to
time,
get money, right?
get
Do we
money.
do we not
So,
say that? Yeah.
but the post that we were talking about specifically was Bottega.
Mhm.
Bottega items are meticulously made and they're very well made, so they're not gonna fall apart. They use top-notch, products, and some of the stuff is pieces that people can't even believe, like, it's jeans that look like denim, but when you really get up on them, it's leather. Um, you know, it's it's one of those brands, if you can afford it, you can afford it, if you can't, you can't. So,
right. And look, not everything is for everybody. I
not
completely
at
agree
all.
with you that these are art pieces that you walk around and wear. But what's always interesting to me is because I feel like you and I are unique in that we come from the sneaker culture, right? You want to say sneakerheads, whatever. We were wearing sneakers, getting them before. I think that was even a term, right? But we also are into like fashion. You know what I mean? Like we like high fashion, we like streetwear, we like um pretty much everything around it that goes into it. The sneaker people will say, "Oh my God, you're crazy for spending 2,900 on a pair of trousers," right? But then the fashion folks will say, "Why are people lined up for, you know what I mean, this particular shoe? Why is it going for $1,000 on the resale?" So the point that I want to make is that regardless of what you think about something being too expensive, there's something that you're spending your money on that someone else like, "Oh, I would never do that." And it's vice versa.
Yeah, I'll never buy a fucking $20 cup of coffee. So,
Okay, so you would you wouldn't
no,
do that. You
some
wouldn't do
people
that.
do it on a daily.
That's true. That's true. Well, th- I don't do that. I like my coffee, but $20, like, nah, there's got to be something else to it. There's got to be something else to it. Um, and the other thing I will say is the way that some of these higher fashion pieces are made, that when it's done right, it's built to last
That too.
for a long period of time. And then, you have to think about what I always think about is cost per wear, right? And how much do you get out of the product? So, and this is how I approach, high fashion, designer fashion. I have to be able to wear it three different ways. I have to be able to dress it up. I have to be able to kind of have it in the middle. Or if I just want to wear it casually, that's how I look at it. And I look at it from a perspective of, is it a piece that is going to age well over time? Only you know that. Only you know that, right? Only you in your heart know that. So, with that being said, some of these pieces, if you look at a piece, it's like art. It's an investment. It's an investment, right? And it's something that you're going to wear for 8 to 10 years. Maybe it is worth that amount of
Absolutely.
money. And the other thing I
Absolutely.
will say is this, is that, a lot of people might be a little fearful. And again, like, get your money, save your money. Don't blow all your money, right? This is fun. We having fun with this, right? But sometimes, you could be continuously replacing the same item over and over again. Well, how much money did you spend on that over a period of a year or 2 years, when maybe you could have just bought this one thing that does have a high price tag on it, but it's what you actually wanted, and it's going to satisfy your craving, and you're going to have
Right.
that. You're going to have
Right.
that piece, right?
Right.
So clearly I could justify it, you know, one way or the other, may or may not have something to do with sales in my lifetime. But, these are just things that I think about. And it's all about that emotional price that you put on the.
Um, I saw this. What was it? It wasn't a quote. It was a meme, and it said, "People always." I'm probably gonna misquote it, but it was along the lines like, "Stop calling everything pieces or archive. It's a shirt, my nigga." Like, some people buy shirts, some people buy pieces. You know,
Difference.
it's absolutely a difference. I have a lot of pieces. I have a
Yep.
lot of shirts.
That's right.
This this is a shirt. It's a
Yeah.
t-shirt. That's
Yep.
it. That's all this is. This isn't a
Yep.
piece, but I have a lot of pieces. So, you know, all depends.
Yeah.
But I take the same approach as you. I have to be able to wear it different ways. And I also look at a lot if I things that I'm gonna spend a lot of money on, I look at it like, do I see myself in this a couple years from now?
Hmm.
Once I get to a certain price point, I'm like, am I gonna wear this a couple years from now? How many wears am I gonna get out of that? And that's the determining factor of whether or not I see myself crashing the money on it. Because if not, I'd be like, I'm good.
Right. Right. I agree. It's like don't crash out on the fad. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Don't do that. Don't do that because there's a lot of people, I won't name any names. There's a lot of people out there that are into how people look at them when they put on the piece as opposed to them actually being into fashion. Those are two totally different things. Like you could like we could look at Balenciaga, for example. Okay. There's no wrong answer. However you want to spend your money, you can spend your money, but they got pieces that have nothing written on them, that are intricately made, that have really good materials, that is shaped and cut in a different way, that could age well. Then you got hoodies, you got t-shirts with logo mania all over that. Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong for going this route or that route, but I start to think about it as like, all right, is what they're doing, could I find that? Can someone else do that just as good as them or better? Start to think about that. And you look at this other piece and you say, is this the highest representation of it? Can someone outdo them in that regard? I don't know. If not, maybe this is for you. Maybe that's for you. So, there's also that. Um, One thing I do know, we could be at this conversation for a long time.
Very long time.
This actually
Yeah.
could be like a larger topic. So if you all want us to talk about this in more detail, maybe we can get Kelly Coulter on, for the episode. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Um,
please, Kelly, Miss Couture, please.
Couture, excuse me, my fault. It's
We
late.
need you, please.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We would love to hear your your perspective as well. But yeah, that's all I got. But I know sometimes Royal might have a little something.
Listen, yo, bro, I know I've been disappointing you lately. I don't have any shit to talk, man.
Man, I'm like, hold up. I'm waiting for him to
That means the streets is doing something good.
they doing something good.
Doing something good. They're behaving. The streets
You
are
too happy.
behaving.
You too happy, man. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is, man.
Man, I'm gonna just tell you guys this one last thing.
Yep.
I need you guys to like. I need you guys to comment,
Yep.
and I need you guys to subscribe.
Okay.
And also, as I always say nowadays, if you like something, you're dick riding. If you don't, you're hating. With that said, do you.
Always do you, y'all. And yeah, we appreciate you all. Again, keep tapping in week to week. We're gonna have this.
Please.
There's gonna be more home cooked meals that state your claim. You're gonna see that as well. You're gonna listen to that as well. But we appreciate you all taking this journey with us. We are consistent and we not stopping.
Mm-mm. Can't stop, won't stop. Oh
Nope.
yeah, no, I can't. Oh yeah,
No,
I forgot. I can't.
no, he did the see, we started talking about the Hype Williams influence
Yeah.
with Joe Freshgoods, and that just got you into the whole bad boy mode. But we'll just keep it at that. No shiny suits tonight. No shiny suits tonight. But in any case, all right. Thank you all so much. My name is Gatsby,
I'm Royal Rel.
and you just tuned in to another edition of Say of the Week, brought to you by Set Your Claim. Be safe. Be safe. Do something nice for somebody. No dumb shit out here. There's too much crazy shit going on. Enjoy it. Enjoy your life. Value it.
Facts.
Yeah. All right.
I'm off this, man. Peace.
We out.
Take your